Welcome to Viva, the biggest 5 news of the day. And there's no news bigger than Game of Thrones. Oh my God! Season 7, Episode 7 saw their biggest, worthy, most mega show ever. And while we don't know whether it's Jon Snow and Dany and whoever else is going to win, or whether or not it's the White Walkers that's going to triumph, we do know this. HBO won at the end of the day when they have fought their own version of their White Walkers, which is the hackers. The hackers, which can be deemed as terrorists in the corporate world for all I care, have demanded millions in terms of bitcoins to be paid to them by HBO. They threatened a bunch of stuff saying that they will release all these episodes beforehand, and HBO said, no, we will not put up with this. This is a bigger story because corporations are not known to not deal with terrorists. Usually governments do not deal with terrorists, and now corporations have now taken that in step. So what do we do from here? My conversation with a cyber security company called Sophos in my show in Market Talk last month basically discussed why there has to be a closer integration between security companies and how we need to combat hacking and other cybersecurity threats collectively.
We're already seeing the police recognize the talent shortage and going, we need to work with the private sector to have more success. And so I know it's part of my role, and I know many other people at many other security companies around the world that a lot of us donate and spend a lot of our time assisting law enforcement, or when we run into things in our research that may help with a case, we'll hand that information over to the authorities in multiple countries.
The second biggest story of the day, of course, is something that is currently happening in the US. The catastrophic and life-threatening floods are currently drenching Houston, Texas, America's 4th largest metro area. Floods are now rising, damaging property that runs into the millions. So how do we move from managing a hurricane situation to managing floods? But concurrently, there is something happening halfway across the world as well. And this is happening right now in Hong Kong and Macau, where a powerful storm lashed these two cities on Sunday, just days after a punishing typhoon swept through the region and claimed at least 18 lives. Both cities raised a Typhoon 8 signal, which is the 3rd highest warning level early Sunday, as severe tropical storm Pakar made landfall in the region, where emergency workers were still battling to repair Wednesday's damages. Hundreds of flights are being delayed, thousands of properties are being destroyed, and more importantly, we know now that a total of 236 trees that was weakened by Wednesday's typhoons were brought down by the latest storm in Hong Kong, and there were now 16 flooding reports. You see, there is a continuing trend of flooding reports being hit by big cities like Houston and Hong Kong. It is important to note that in Southeast Asia, future cities are being exposed even further, assets and population are continuing to grow, and we need to understand that we have to be proactive in managing floods, not reactive.
The one problem that I see in Southeast Asia mainly is most of our responses to floods are reactive rather than proactive. Malaysia, KL alone, in 2070 is at risk of losing $84 billion worth of value. And if you compare replacing that value when the flood happens to what you have to invest in flood control mitigation, we're talking a very minor.
The last story that you need to know is, of course, Uber. They've just hired a new CEO. Dara Khosrow Shahi was formerly from Expedia, a travel company. He basically outranked many others that was running in contention for the job, including Jeff Immelt from General Electric and Meg Whitman from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. There is an important footnote to this because for Uber, there is a Malaysian company or Malaysian pension fund, KUAP, that is invested in Uber. We need to ensure that the investments done by KUAP in Uber continues to bring value. So we hope that the new CEO will bring all the best that it can from Uber. And that's it from me. I'm Ibrahim Sani, and you're watching Viva.